It's Monday of the NFL draft season, meaning it's mock draft Monday. We only have one more after this before the NFL draft next Thursday. So let's jump right into it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTB Ravens Media, bringing Ravens content every single day. If you want to subscribe to see that daily content, I do really recommend it. We're on the road to 5,000 subscribers. The goal is to hit it before next season starts. I'd love to hit it before draft weekend, but it's getting to look like it's a little bit unlikely at this point. We're nearing about 4,800 right now. So if you subscribe, that would be fantastic. But if you're new to the channel, new to the series, every Monday of the offseason for the last 3 or 4 years, I think it's 4 years now I've been doing this, mock draft, 7 rounds, no trades every single time. Now, in this video, I take a lot of players that I haven't taken before, so I'd love to hear your guys' opinions on it. But as always, comment your mock drafts down below. Comment your opinions on the players I take and who you think the Ravens are going to go with next Thursday. Well, let's jump right into it. Round 1, pick 27. A couple of players were on the board that a lot of people like. A lot of players were off the board. Okay, there were none of the corners that we see people liking to take, like a Jade or a Amos or a Shaven Ravel. None of them were available. Some offensive linemen were available. Kelvin Banks, Gray Zabel. I think Tyler Booker was gone at that point, so he was not available. So those were kind of the two linemen. Pass rushers. I didn't see Walter Nolan. I didn't see any of the D tackles. I did see James Pierce Jr. He was kind of the only one that was available at edge. But I did decide to go with offensive line, and I went with Kelvin Banks Jr. Now, I did say in my video, ranking my top 5 players for the Ravens to draft, I had Gray over Kelvin Banks. But that was more because I didn't think Kelvin Banks would be available. This was the first time I've seen him available in a mock draft on PFF at 27. So I figured, hey, I should take it. If you don't know about Kelvin Banks, he's been a starter for Texas at left tackle for his entire career. Very good in college. And he has a little bit of shorter arms, but was very productive in college. But he can play guard if needed. He's athletic. He can run block. He can swing protect. He's terrific in space. So having him as a run blocking, physical offensive lineman at about 320 pounds at left guard, I think would be very beneficial. Or I think left guard is probably where he would be. I think he's more familiar on the left side. Get him next to Ronnie. Get him working with Ronnie. He's a player that has the talent that could potentially, be our replacement if Ronnie Stanley does end up retiring or when he leaves after his contract is up. But Kelvin Banks is a phenomenal offensive lineman prospect. And I think that even if he's just playing guard to start his career, if Ronnie goes down with injury, knock on wood, you can slide him to left tackle, but you can play him right away. He'd be a fantastic guard in the NFL and has the potential to be a Pro Bowl offensive tackle as well. So I think he has a higher upside than Gray Zabel because I think Gray Zabel is limited to the interior offensive line, but Gray provides the center versatility, and Kelvin Banks is more of the tackle versatility. He's a tackle that can play guard, so that versatility. Now, moving on to round 2, pick 59, I decided to go with a defensive back. Now, there were 2 available that I was choosing from, either Benjamin Morrison or Kevin Winston Jr. I decided this time to go with Kevin Winston Jr. I've done Benjamin Morrison plenty of times. I love Benjamin Morrison's game. Both of them very similar players. Both players that people thought could be first-round players in this class before they both suffered injuries. But I think that going safety was more beneficial in my mind because I want to have a safety that can play right away. And with us getting Chido Awuzie in free agency, getting a starting corner isn't as big of a need as I think that third safety is, because the Ravens are a 3-safety team. That was one of the problems their defense had last year, was Marcus Williams was borderline unplayable. And they just didn't have that third safety. Sanusi Kane had been hurt. Sanusi Kane, terrific on special teams. I like his game, but I don't know if he's necessarily ready to step in as a primary, like a major role, player, contributor on this Ravens defense. I think he works on special teams, but I think Kevin Winston Jr., terrific tackler, has the athleticism to play over the top. You can put him in the box. Again, great tackler. You can get him close to the line of scrimmage, but he played more over the top in college. And then you pair that with our Darius Washington, who can slide into the slot and, cover players. and play close to the line of scrimmage. It just gives you three safeties with terrific versatility, all with good athleticism, all with ball hawk skills. And I think that's more valuable than getting another corner. Now, I do draft more corners in this draft. Don't worry. Next up, round 3, pick 91. This is the first time I've taken him, and I'm going to make sure I don't mess up this name. Olu Femi-Olojo or Oladejo. I think it's Oladeo out of UCLA. He had 7 sacks last year. This is a developmental pass rusher. He's played, I think, 1 year of pass rusher in college football. He was an off-ball linebacker. So kind of made the transition Malik Harrison made just earlier than him. Malik Harrison did it like last year, 2 years ago in the NFL. Femi, I think they call him Femi. Femi made that transition last year. He played at Cal as an off-ball linebacker, went to UCLA, and was productive. Very athletic, very good tackler, very smart, was still productive. Okay, this is not a situation where it's like, oh, he just doesn't have the experience playing it and he's not good. He was productive, but I think he has absolutely the traits that you're looking for. Very strong, very physical, like 250 pounds. So he's the right size. He's 6'3". He has all the traits that you're looking for in a pass rusher. And the Ravens have been a very good developmental pass rusher team, and they have decent pass rushers right now. Now, would I love to get an Ezerako in the first round, right? A first round pass rusher? Yes, but we didn't go first round pass rusher. You're not going to get an instant impact, instant 7-sack guy in the third round of the draft this year. Most likely that's going to play over an Adafe or Calvin Noy or David Ojabo. So getting a guy that, hey, maybe we don't keep one of those guys, develop him underneath, have him work with Tavius, have him work with Adisa Isaac, and you'll be able to get a really good pass rusher in 2-3 years' time. I think that's worth it, in my opinion. Next up, I feel like we do need to draft this position because I don't know. I mean, we just don't have much depth at it. I think wide receivers a need. Now, I don't think starting wide receiver is a huge need. I love Zay, I love Bate, I love Nook. I think Tylan Wallace and Tez Walker are both solid backup wide receivers. I'd love to see what Tez Walker has next year or this year, as someone that's, coming into the season a little bit healthier, a year under his belt. Remember, he barely played. He only played in like 6 or 7 college games his senior year because of like transfer issues and the NCAA like basically not letting him play. So now that he has kind of a full year under his belt in the NFL, I think he could be, maybe a wide receiver 4 or 5. But I think we do need a wide receiver to learn under these guys. Nook's not going to be playing for that long. Bate only has 1 year left on his contract. Zay, when he gets a contract extension, is going to be a lot. So who knows if we can keep him. I'm going with the Senior Bowl standout, going with someone that's been flying up draft boards. I went with Kyle Williams, someone that's a very good route runner, very savvy, very good at Washington State. I think he's one of the most slept on wide receivers in this class. And I think his play style is more what the Ravens are looking for from their wide receivers. There are other players available. Torrey Horton, Nick Nash, trying to think of those day 3 guys. Jaden Higgins was off the board, so he was not available. But those types of players where they're big, Pat Bryant's another one, where they're big and they're physical and they can make these contested catches. Like, I'm not saying Kyle Williams can't make contested catches, but he's more known as a route runner, someone that's really quick. He can hop in the slot. He can play outside. And that route running technique is kind of what the Ravens have been looking for with Lamar Jackson. Because honestly, here's the thing. You'd rather throw to someone open than someone that's covered, right? And Lamar Jackson is, I think, the best quarterback in the NFL when it comes to finding open wide receivers. Not necessarily that he has the best vision in the NFL. He has very good vision. Not trying to say he doesn't. But because he can extend the plays, because the run game is so effective, their receivers get open more. And so getting just another really good route runner and a Kyle Williams with a Zay, with a Bate, would just have third downs, third and shorts, second and shorts, red zone offense. It would just make it that much easier to find guys. The contested catches, those are the tight ends game. That's what the Ravens offense has been. And we also have Nook. Nook is one of the best physical catchers in the history of the NFL. He still has those great hands. The route running isn't necessarily there anymore. The athleticism in there, but he has terrific hands. He will get open. He will find space. He will catch the football. Kyle Williams, more of a Rashad Bateman, Zay Flowers type of player with good quickness, great acceleration, and good enough ball skills to make it work. Next up, round 4, pick 136. I finally go with a corner. I went with Noel Williams out of Cal, press man corner, physical, big, um, enough speed. Not necessarily the fastest guy, kind of an average speed player, but I think we need corners. I think, I think he was the best one available on the board, honestly. And and I do take another cornerback in the draft that's more of a developmental player. But again, we have Cheeto, we have Marlon, we have Nate. Those are our starters based on this draft. In the NFL draft, if we draft a, corner first round, there'll be a starter over Cheeto. But then we have TJ Tampa, and then we'd have Noel Williams on the bench. And then potentially, I would expect the Ravens to sign another player. Just don't know exactly who it is. But now, round 5, pick 176. I do want to get this position in our draft. I want to get a 3-tech. I want to get an interior defensive lineman. I went with Tonka Hemingway. People might look at him as an interior defensive lineman, say he's a little bit undersized. I think he's about 280 pounds. But that his style, he's not a run stuffer. He is just a kind of a finesse player that plays in the 3-tech position, can stop the run, can get you a little bit of a pass rush. But I want that versatility. I want to have depth guys on the defensive line, because right now our only quote unquote pass rush defensive lineman, that's going to be obviously Nnamdi Madubuike, and it's going to be Travis Jones. But both of them are kind of bigger players. Getting someone that's kind of going to go with a little bit more finesse on the interior. Not saying he's, Micah Parsons. like that's not what finesse defensive tackle is. He's just not winning with overbearing power, a little bit more speed on the interior, a little bit more quick hands and such. But I like a scam. I think he could be a really good option in the 5th or potentially 6th round. Next up, pick round 6, pick 183. He's listed as a tackle. He's more of a guard, probably. But I went with Emory Jones Jr. out of LSU. Massive football player, really highly touted recruit. Played at LSU for multiple years. Obviously, was with Will Campbell. He was playing right tackle. Will Campbell was on the left. But he's probably going to play guard. And I think he's definitely more athletic than Daniel Faalele. Not saying he would start right away, but if we got Kelvin Banks, I think he'd be our starting left guard. And then we would have a 4 or 5 man race to see who'd be our starting right guard between Emory Jones, Daniel Faalele, Andrew Voorhees, and Ben Cleveland. I think there'll be a really worth it race to watch. And I think the best one winning it would be more beneficial for the Ravens team. Just get a lot of guys contending for that spot. And whoever wins it is obviously the best person that we possibly have. But I like going with 2 guards and guys that have played tackle. So if need be, if someone goes down with injury, knock on wood, they might be able to slide in, be a backup as well. But next up, round 6, pick 203, with one of my favorite late round wide receivers in this class as a deep threat, probably my favorite deep threat in the class, Dante Thornton Jr., 6'5", very fast, very good ball tracking. That's all he is. He's a deep threat. He's not a crazy jump ball receiver. He's fast. He's a deep threat. Bring him in for long shots. That's totally fine, right? We have 11 draft picks. Get him on the team. Get him chemistry with Lamar Jackson. Get our guy that can finally track the ball deep downfield, because Lamar hasn't had one really since Hollywood. The problem with Hollywood is Hollywood doesn't have great hands. Great ball tracker, not great hands. Thornton has good hands, great ball tracking, and comparable speed, maybe even faster than Hollywood Brown. Bit of a long strider because he is 6'5", very different type of speed than Hollywood. But next up, round 6, pick 210. One of the most intriguing players in this draft class. Very similar to someone that came out of his same school a few years ago that I loved. A little bit much more raw than Reek Woolen, and that would be Zoff Frazier. Zoff Frazier's only been a 1-year starter at UTSA. However, 6'3", 4.3 40-yard dash. He's someone that you look to as an only outside corner. But if he's your outside corner and you're running, cover 3 bail, or you're running cover 4 playing over the top, he's going to be someone on the outside that's not going to get beat over the top. And if you're playing against a team like maybe the Dolphins or I'm trying to think of teams with really fast wide receivers, maybe the Steelers, the Steelers got DK Metcalf, they've got Calvin Austin as well. So those are 2 kind of fast guys. And you just are like, dude, someone went down. We need a corner to come in and play outside that just won't get beat over top. He could definitely sub it. And him and Nate they'd probably be the 2 fastest. It would be the fastest group of corners in the NFL, having Nate and Zoff Frazier. But next up, round 6, pick 212, I went with Ty Robinson out of Nebraska. Now I took Tonka Hemingway earlier. He's kind of more of a finesse guy. Ty Robinson is like 6'6". He's 330 pounds. He's a lane clogger. He got sacks at tennis or at Nebraska, but that's not his game. He's an opportunistic sack guy. If they scramble up towards him, he can wrap them up, but he's going to clog multiple blockers. He's kind of a Brent Urban type, is kind of what I would think about if you're trying to look for a comparison. Brent Urban is kind of the guy. 1 or 3 tech, playing on the interior, really big, really strong, really physical, and great tackler. And he's also pretty good at recognizing run schemes and getting good run fits. And then final pick in the draft, round 7, pick 243. Talked about him in a video earlier this week. If you haven't seen it, check it out. I went with Ryan Fitzgerald, kicker out of Florida State, 13 for 13 last year, best kicker in the draft class. The Ravens have reportedly met with him, and I don't think Justin Tucker should be on the Baltimore Ravens. That's my draft. I'll go over it one more time. Kelvin Banks, Kevin Winston, Olu Femi-Olojo, Kyle Williams, Noel Williams, Tonka Hemingway, Emory Jones Jr., Dante Thornton Jr., Zal Frazier, Ty Robinson, and Ryan Fitzgerald. I didn't realize I drafted four juniors, 4 juniors on the team. But let me know your mock drafts, your thoughts on all my players. Thank you all so much for watching. Subscribe for more, and I'll see all of you again tomorrow.